traffic safety is obviously one of the highest priorities of the Littleton Police Department. We respond to a lot of accidents, and one of the worst accidents that we could respond to is when it's involving a pedestrian. Something that helps prevent it is a tool like the crosswalk. And something that we've recently come out with are these new signs over here. What they'll do is when you hit a button, it will illuminate, it will flash yellow. So the citizen will be able to cross. It gives higher visibility to the drivers as well. As a pedestrian, when you're approaching that crosswalk, don't just automatically think that people are going to stop, that's just this safety net that's going to prevent somebody from hitting you. What you need to do is when you're approaching that crosswalk, look both ways, look at traffic. Are they slowing? Now as the driver, when you're seeing those flashing lights, you're coming to a stop, you're looking, hey, where are these pedestrians at? Where do I need to be? And you're not in the clear until that pedestrian's actually exited the crosswalk. So don't just think because they passed your car, well, I'm good to go and move forward. You're not. You wait till they're completely clear of that crosswalk and then you can proceed. But one of the key factors that you have to realize with this particular crosswalk here at Bemis and the Boulevard is we've got new construction going on. When this new construction happened, obviously this building's pretty large, so it's created a huge blind spot on this curve over here. Now, when it's created that blind spot, people think they're safe. They're like, you know what I'll do? I'll just walk along the roadway, or I'll just ride my bike along the roadway. Well, the truth of the matter is there's a lot of people who aren't paying attention out there. You know, we've got a lot of gadgets, we've got our radios, we've got our phones, we're paying attention to something else, and they come around that corner and they don't see you and they hit you. It creates a pretty dangerous situation, and so we're urging people, please do not do that. Not only is it a ticketable offense, which quite honestly is the lowest on the list of things you'd be facing, because you could be facing getting hit by a vehicle. And trust me, when you're hit by a vehicle, it's not a good situation. I've seen a lot of bad things.
City Council said that, you know, what's priority for us, and based on the commercial area along Bellevue and the fact that the city, we don't have any plans to help future decision making in this area, so that's where it became a focus to take on creating a corridor plan for that area. It started in December, and we've hired a consultant to do some research and for them to give us a market assessment of the core area, the commercial areas. We had a neighborhood meeting to say, hey, what's your vision for your neighborhood in this area? So that was sort of the phase one. So now we're in phase two, where we now have all this detail. We want to go back to the community and say, hey, did we hear you? And the elements that are coming out of that are around mobility and safety along the corridor. So for pedestrians and vehicles, and making sure it's safe. Another element is around the parks and access to parks and open space in this area. The third is around like the vision, we want to create a vision that matches both the neighborhood as well as the regional aspect of this corridor, and the importance of it to the city. And then making sure that we're protecting and reinvesting in the existing residential neighborhoods, and then also as future development and redevelopment happens along the core commercial areas, like how can we create a plan that can help us with those decisions in the future. And I think the other element too is like, how can we create an identity for this area of the city too? So those are all kind of bits and pieces that will be part of the process and part of the plan. So community members, the best option they have is to come out and give input while we're making this corridor plan.
This section of Jackass Gulch, some erosion was first noted more than 10 years ago. It's a very steep section of creek, and as a result of that, when it does rain really hard and the water flows, there's a lot of erosive force. And over the years, what had happened is the creek had downcut down through the landscape, leaving some really tall vertical channel bank edges. And over time, those start to collapse. And so this widening was encroaching onto these folks' backyard, these people who live along West Jamison Way. It was encroaching into their backyards, it was getting closer to their houses and causing a lot of concern. 2014, Urban Drainage and Flood Control District and the city were able to come together and partner to start the design of a stabilization project for the creek. This involves some drop structures, which look like little waterfalls in the channel bottom. We've also got some boulder walls and some grading and other rock riprap that's being placed to help protect the banks from erosion. Normally there's water running through. This time of year and being as dry as it's been, there's actually no flow in the creek right now. But typically there is at least a little bit of a trickle. But right now in construction, they've got it all pumped around. That way, as they're working in the stream bottom, they're not making the water muddy and sending that sediment downstream. They're expected to finish up the main channel, the work in the channel in the early part of the spring. And then after that's finished, so probably around April, May timeframe, another contractor will come in and do some landscaping work by replacing trees and shrubs.